And then the next one is not a Michael Jackson book, but you'll see how it kind of ties in. It kind of segues into the next one. But this is the Growing Up in the Jackson Family, Toya Jackson's book. And really, it was controversial when it first came out, but I do really like this book, and she talks a lot about Michael. And honestly, it doesn't seem that bad compared to what they used to talk about and whatever. Maybe she edited out a few parts, but from what I read, I thought that it was pretty factual because, like, if you read Jermaine's book, you read this, and the movie that Jermaine kind of directed, the, like, series, The Jackson and American Dream, it's all very consistent. It's not like, you know, she made anything up too badly. Like, I don't know. I really like this book. And so, like I said, she does talk a lot about Michael. And the reason why I showed this one is because it segues into this book. This is Toya Jackson starting over, and as you can see, Michael's on the cover. And she does talk a lot about Michael in here too, which is kind of, a lot of it is happy, and then it kind of gets into this kind of like, I don't know, it could make you feel a little uneasy and uncomfortable if you're not, you know, if you don't talk about some of these things. But in here, it does get a little sad toward the end and a little bit uneasy for some people. I mean, that's just me, but I mean, you might have a different reaction, I don't know. But, yeah, I did really, really like this book, and the reason why I included this book is because there are some things in here that she clears up in here, so it's kind of like sums everything up and wraps it up really well. So I like it, and it would be nice if you read this book first and then read this book, because then you understand what she's referring to in this book. But she does talk a lot about Michael, and that is basically what drew me to it a lot. So yeah, that's a really good read. And then the next one is very similar in the way that it's a sibling talking about Michael. This is You Are Not Alone, Michael Jackson Through a Brother's Eyes, and it's by Jermaine Jackson. And at first I was like, well, I don't really want to know what Jermaine has to say. Not that I don't like Jermaine, it's just, I don't know. You don't know who to believe in the family sometimes. But I was like, you know what, he's talking about Michael, and it's worth the read. And when I read it, I actually really, really enjoyed it. And I got a reply from Jermaine on Twitter as well, so that was cool. And yeah, I ended up really liking this book. Again, it's an insight into Michael. A lot of the things that you already knew and more. So I really like this book, and I think it's great. Just to get like a kind of insight into who Michael was as a person, and just there are some kind of like sad and disappointing parts in here, like where you just feel really bad. Again, I can do a review on this book, but I really like it and would recommend that as a read. And then I have two more books. The first one right here is The Magic, the Madness, the Whole Story, and this is basically like a continuation on a previous book called The Magic, the Madness. And it's by Randy Taraborelli, who was kind of close to the family, and I don't know. I think some of it, it's very objective. I think it's through his view, so some of the stuff, as a Michael Jackson fan, we may not agree with, but I guess, I don't know, I just think this is very, very informative, and most of it, if not all of it, is very true. And he has a very realistic perspective on Michael. He's not sucking up to Michael. He's just being a person talking about a person he knows. So that's what I liked about it, and it's a very thick book, but I read it very, very quickly because it's that good. So yeah, that's that book, and again, I can do reviews on any of these books. I know I keep saying that, but I just want you guys to know that's why I'm not really talking a lot about them in this video. But last but not least is this book here, and I saved this for last because it's an actual autobiography by Michael himself. He wrote it, and it's in his words, and it's called Moonwalk. And I like the cover of it. You can either have, you know, like a quarter of his face or half of his face. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And it's basically all in Michael's perspective, and I think any Michael Jackson fan should read this at least once. If you can't get it for yourself, at least maybe they may have it in libraries or something, but it is very insightful into Michael, and it's nice to see what he has to say about himself. We see him talking in interviews and stuff, but this was the first kind of like book that he's ever written, so I really like this, and I thought it was really, really good. And I think he could have gone into more depth, if I'm just being honest. I think he basically just grazed the surface, but even his surface is so much more interesting than most people's, like, entire lives. So it made it that good, but, I mean, I don't know. I just like this book, and I hope you guys have read it. If you have read it, you can comment down below and tell me what you thought about it. or if you have not read it, I don't know, I encourage you to read it. So that is the entire part 3 of my collection. Next week I will be doing like kind of miscellaneous items. Or no, you know what? I'm probably going to show you guys my t-shirts and stuff like that. But yeah, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!